Hello, my name is Teresa Devano, and I'm the Vice President for Youth Markets for the American Heart Association. We are delighted and thankful to be your state project for this school year, and I'm excited to share with you information about the American Heart Association, our focused areas, and how we make an impact in your community. By raising funds this year, you'll be helping those who are affected by heart disease and stroke live longer, healthier lives. Thank you so much. The American Heart Association is really excited to be working together with the FBLA to build a happy and healthy Gen Next. We're really proud that we have over 40 million dedicated volunteers and 90 years of life-saving history. We are a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives, and are proud as well that we have committed $20 million to funding research in Pennsylvania. Sadly, heart disease is still the #1 killer in both the United States and in the world. And the fact that probably jumps out at me the most is that 1 of every 3 deaths in the United States is caused by heart disease or stroke. And for the risk, 72% of Americans don't consider themselves to be at risk, which is kind of scary, which means that we still have a lot of work to do in helping folks understand what risks they have, what they can control, and what they can't control. We're also very proud that we've invested $4.3 billion in research since 1949, second only to the federal government. But we don't want to be #1 and #2 anymore. So we are always looking forward to the time when that will no longer be the case. There are really 6 pillars of focus that the American Heart Association has. I'm going to touch briefly on each of these. The first one is reducing blood pressure and chronic disease. Nearly half of all Americans have high blood pressure. So we work with organizations, churches, companies to help ensure that employees, folks even within in schools, like your faculty members, your administrators, that they're getting their blood pressures checked and making sure that if they need to go see their doctor, if they have hypertension or hypotension, that they're getting the care that they need. The second one is ending tobacco use and vaping. We're going to talk a little bit more about that a few slides from now. But if we don't address this issue, tobacco is going to continue to kill nearly 500,000 Americans each year. And so I know that you guys are seeing it in your schools, and we're going to talk about some ways that maybe you can make an impact so that we can decrease that number and stop some of this vaping and tobacco usage. We are also very focused on reducing risk for women. Too many women continue to remain unaware that cardiovascular disease is their leading cause of death. A woman's symptoms for heart disease and stroke are different than a man's. And so we want to make sure that women are educated through different programs that we have, knowing how to recognize those symptoms and warning signs, and also making sure that they're taking charge of their health and closing under any gender, ethnicity gaps in research and in STEM. We're also addressing COVID. One of the things that I think jumps out most at me for COVID is that folks who are having symptoms of heart disease, or a heart attack or stroke, they're not going to the hospital and getting the care that they need because they're afraid. And so we are continuing to do research. We've invested $2.5 million to investigate the cardiovascular implications of the coronavirus, but we're continuing to do a lot of education with that. I know your school environment has really changed as well. You're maybe virtual one week and hybrid the next week. So even the way that you all are getting impacted by COVID and how you're being educated is something of concern. Increasing nutrition security. We really want to make sure that we address this issue because everybody should have the ability to have heart-healthy food, to live a heart-healthy lifestyle. So we're advocating public policies to improve heart-healthy food standards in schools, restaurants, and we're doing a lot of collaboration with the food industry to amplify solutions. Promoting mental well-being. This is also an area where when we're in the schools, we talk to students all the time about being physically active. And we do that through some of our programs, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But not only do we talk to them about being physically active, but we talk to them about their mental well-being. And so there's some wonderful resources that we offer to our students and to the community to make sure that that is certainly on the forefront and a focus of ours. Healthy for Good is actually the platform that we use so that we can create lasting change in health and life. And we do it one small step at a time. So we really focus on eating smart, adding color to your plate, exercising, and then being well. And we take a holistic view on being well. So not only, again, are we wanting to be physically active, but we want to make sure that we have social and emotional well-being. We're also advocating for a healthier next generation through CPR, hands-only CPR, or basic life support. We're really excited to know that 2.5 million students are trained in CPR every year. And we advocate for making sure that the mandate that Pennsylvania has for students to be trained in hands-only CPR before they graduate is a requirement that is met. The heart's not going to start itself is something that's so true. And folks are many times afraid to give CPR, but just think about it. If you look down here and it says that, currently bystanders only perform CPR 46% of the time, imagine how many more lives could be saved if that was 50%, 60%, 75%. So, when you get your training in school, if you haven't already, to learn how to do hands-only CPR, that's one more lifesaver that we're putting into the community, into your school, into your family. We also want to make sure that you're aware that we can help prepare you for the corporate world. We know that you're, leaders right now in your schools, but as you leave high school, middle school, soon as you leave school and you move on to college, we have opportunities for you to partner and volunteer with the American Heart Association. We have so many wonderful CEOs and CFOs, folks from all different levels within an organization that volunteer with our Heart Walks and our Heart Balls, our Go Red for Women events. So I would encourage you, as you move from high school to college, and then you begin your career, that you think about partnering and coming out and volunteering with the American Heart Association. We would certainly welcome that. Teens and vaping. So I find these statistics here are just staggering, but 78% among high school students and 48% among middle school students is how we've increased and seen the increase in vaping. And seeing here that an e-cigarette refill pod has the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes is shocking. And I don't know that many students and folks who use these vaping and e-cigarettes even realize that. There are a lot of ways that you can actually help with vaping in your community and the use of tobacco. You can go down through this list, and one of the things that I really love is our You're the Cure network. We support local, state, and federal tobacco policies. You can join You're the Cure, just going on the American Heart Association website and searching for that. Many of you probably remember Kids Heart Challenge and American Heart Challenge, which used to be Jump Rope for Heart and Hoops for Heart in your schools. And we absolutely make sure that as we're speaking to students about the programs, that we're talking to them about living tobacco-free. Our belief really is, as a relentless force for students' health, we believe that all young people deserve the opportunity to be healthy and successful, and realize the dream of being the first generation free from preventable heart disease. We advocate for our youth in so many different ways. We are constantly advocating for PE in schools, making sure that that's a priority, that folks administrators and other folks are allowing the time for physical education classes to take place, so that kiddos can get rid of some of that stress and get moving. We are also always advocating for healthy foods for students. Again, the generation of lifesavers, where we are training students. And again, I'm delighted that Pennsylvania is in this group of 38 states that requires it as part of your graduation. And then we've helped more than 4 million students get active for at least 60 minutes through our partnership with NFL Play 60. One of the other things that you can do to be connected to the American Heart Association is visit us on social media. We're on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We would welcome for you to join those pages, follow us, see what wonderful things are happening in the community, and again, volunteer, participate with us. I know this year is going to be a little bit more of a challenge when it comes to some of the fundraising that you all do to help benefit our organization. I wanted to put down a couple of ideas so that you could, just have some suggestions on what some fundraising options might look like. King and Queen of Hearts is really a group of students, maybe 10 to 12 students at a school who compete. They do fundraising competition between each other, and then whoever raises the most money is King or Queen of Hearts at like a dance, if maybe it's a virtual dance, some other kind of activity, but that is really a lot of fun. And then, we always want to make sure that we're being socially distanced and safe and wearing our masks, but maybe there's a car wash or some other event that you guys can utilize as an outdoor obstacle course as a way to raise some funds and get some sponsors and some donors. I know that t-shirt sales has always been a big thing with FBLA, and I would assume that your advisors will begin to do some more information on that. And then certainly, if you are able to do an event where you have folks that are in attendance, reach out to your school nurse and ask that person if they can provide a mannequin for you, and you can ask them to help you do some training with hands-only CPR. But that's another really great option to incorporate some educational component into your fundraising events. One of the other questions that I get asked all the time is, where does the money go? And I wanted to share this slide with you that shows the impact of your dollar. I think that it's amazing that we spend nearly 82 cents of every dollar on research, education, and community outreach. I've broken everything down. Everything is broken down here for you to see what percentage goes to community service, research, public health education. But certainly, by all means, if you'd like to have more information on what the local impact is in the community, in your territory, in your area, please reach out to me and I will be happy to see if I can provide some additional information. And that is all I have for you. Again, thank you so very, very much for supporting the American Heart Association. I am going to leave my email address up here for just a moment in case anybody would like to write that down. Again, you're more than welcome, whether you're an advisor or a student, to reach out to me. I can put you in touch with the local American Heart Association representative for your area. And again, I thank you so much, and I look forward to hopefully seeing everybody in person with some of the events and the celebration events that will come up in the spring. Take care, everyone.